Welcome back, everyone. Today we're working on a 2003 Suburban. She's kind of a relic. So, customer states that he doesn't drive this too much, but he had a battery put in it about a year ago, and recently it has been having issues with the battery being discharged. So he thinks he's got a draw on it, and I just brought it in here, and I'll kind of show you what I think is going on with it. It's about 20 after 9 right now, and I brought it in about 9 o'clock, pulled the key out of it, shut the door, and we still got this instrument cluster that is on. So I'm thinking that might have something to do with his battery drain. So yeah, I have actually priced out this instrument cluster before, like 2-3 years ago. Something he didn't want to fix at the time. It was having all sorts of issues. The needles were, sweeping across. Sometimes he would have speedo, sometimes he wouldn't. Sometimes the gauges would go kind of crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna throw a meter on here just so I can tell how much it's drawn, whatever, and then kind of diagnose this instrument cluster. I don't think it's anything other than the instrument cluster, but we are going to determine that. So let's get started. All right, so as you can tell, 251 milliamps. Excessive. That should be under 50 milliamps. So let's go check out the instrument cluster and see what that's doing, if it's still lit up or not. Well, that's a different result. We got a couple blocks that are lit up. I'm gonna have to pull that instrument cluster out and see what's going on there. So yeah, let's get that bezel pulled off, pull the instrument cluster, and go from there. That just pegged out. All of a sudden it just went sky high. Huh. Interesting. Now it looks like we have nothing on the instrument cluster. It's weird. Very weird. Are we going to drop down now? Look at that. Oh, now we're back up to 253. Okay. Let's check the instrument cluster again. I don't see it doing anything here. This will be a fun one. So we got a steady 251 milliamp draw. So that is still obviously excessive there. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is pull that instrument cluster out and kind of check and see what's going on there. I'm going to look up a wire diagram here too and see what else we got to work with. Yeah, kind of odd stuff we run into. Really weird. I'm going to hook up the scanner also and check it for codes. Probably do that first, and then we'll get into diagnosing to see if this instrument cluster is indeed the cause of his draw, or if it is something else, which it could be something else. I'm not ruling that out, but we'll have to figure that out. So hook up the scanner now, print out some wire diagrams, and we'll continue on. All right, so we're just pulling up the VIN here. Looks like an automatic. Dual zone. Auto, let's go that one. Oops. Should have done the other one. We'll see if it works. We'll auto scan this. See what we have for codes here. I know we disconnected the battery, so any history codes probably will not be there. We should see if there's like any current codes. Just turning the key on here, we have no display in that cluster at all. So yeah, it's doing all sorts of weird stuff. Looks like we got a few codes here. Where's our instrument cluster at? IPC, we have no response from. Probably not a big surprise. All right, so let's check a report here and see what some of these codes are listed as. evap codes. Again, there's no response from that instrument panel. Okay. So, yeah, like I said, no response there. So next step, let's pull the bezel off here and get at this instrument cluster and see what we see. So another interesting fact is when I brought this in, this was all working. I mean, 212,000 miles roughly. So it was somewhat giving me a display there. Not no more. Let's get this off here. Come on. Let's get this pulled out. Okay. Oh no. Hitting buttons. See if I can get this disconnected here. I kind of want to do a draw test with this disconnected just to see if we're on the right track with something here as far as the draw. Here she comes. Okay. I'm gonna go check it for a draw again and see where we're at as far as if our draw went away, we're still there. Again, that doesn't necessarily mean we can condemn that instrument cluster, but it's just information for me to know. Wait and see what we got here. So that rating is well within spec. So again, we're gonna just leave it on there for a little bit, make sure that we don't have a module that's gonna raise it like it did before, how it jumped up. So I'm just gonna give it a few more seconds here and see what happens. So it's been a good while here, and 5 milliamps, well within spec. So at this time, we're going to check powers and grounds on the connector at the instrument cluster. And then if everything is good there, I'm just going to recommend replacing the instrument cluster. Again, this was something that has been, you know, I gave him an estimate on this 2-3 years ago. So I don't think much has changed. I think it only has failed worse than what it was. So yeah, I'm going to check that connector, check a few pins there, and make sure everything's good. And then from there, it's just a matter of talking to the customer, see what he wants to do. Last time, he didn't want to do anything with it because it is an older vehicle. It's got 212,000 miles on it. He didn't want to stick a lot of money into it. But when it comes to something like this, where you know you can't keep a battery charged, you know, because it's got a draw on it. So I mean, you might just have to bite the bullet. Otherwise, you know, I have a feeling the next question is going to be, can we put a battery disconnect in it? Which I would rather put an instrument cluster in it. I'm going to have that discussion with him again after I check some electrical at the connector there, and then we'll kind of see what he wants to do. So hopefully he goes for an instrument cluster and all's good. So yeah, we'll check that out right now. So let's get our ground hooked up here. That is going to be which pin is this? Pin 12 is our ground. 9 is going to be ignition. So let's grab a key here. Let's turn the ignition on. And let's set this up to the right scale here. 11.33. So right now we verified that our ground is good and the ignition source is good. All right, so we will be checking battery, which is this one. So this is a constant 12 volts. And as you can tell there, we got 12 volts, or battery voltage. So that pretty much verifies that our powers and grounds are good. I feel very confident that this instrument cluster is the culprit of all his issues. So I will contact him, give him a price again, because prices have definitely changed since 2-3 years ago when I priced it out the last time. So I will talk to him, see what he wants to do, and if he wants it done, I'll bring you guys back and kind of verify the repair after that. So yeah, we'll hope that he does it here and I can show you it fixed it. All right, so just got off the phone with the customer. Long conversation. It kind of went as I expected. Kind of wanted to know if we could just cut wires and get the draw to go away, and why do I need an instrument cluster kind of deal. So yeah, I had to kind of convince him that the right way to do it is replace the instrument cluster. So he decided finally to put an instrument cluster in it. Within hopefully a week we will see that. So yeah, we're going with a Dorman one. We'll get this buttoned up. He wants to drive it, so yeah, okay, I guess whatever. So he's going to drive it for a week until the part comes in. When it comes in, I'll let him know, and we'll bring it back, throw that in, and hopefully everything is good to go. Like I stated earlier in the video, I went with a Dorman instrument cluster, and the reasoning behind that is because, yes, it took me 2 weeks to get it, but they ship it programmed. So you give them your VIN number, mileage, everything, and they program it before they ship it out. So the last time I had remote programming done, it took me like 4 days of the vehicle being tied up. And this guy wanted to drive his vehicle while I had the part ordered, so he just disconnected the battery and drove it the way it was with the draw on it. And he said that he didn't think there was a draw on it all the time, which the instrument cluster, when I put it back in, actually started reading correctly. So and it didn't have that weird, you know, display on it. So yeah, there's probably broken circuit board or something in there. I'm sure people fix them, whatever. I just like to have a warranty on it, so I went this route, got the instrument cluster. So I'm going to get that out and get the new one in, and then we're going to just recheck it, make sure we don't have a draw in the system, and this one should be good. All right, so we got the return, the core here. I did want to go over this statement here. You need to have the information of the vehicle and the owner, and this goes back to Dorman. So I'm not really sure what happens if you don't have this, but I'm sure there's a way. It's record keeping to make sure that it's not like a fraudulent, you're changing out the instrument cluster and putting a different odometer reading or something in there. So they do keep track of that. So before you order one of these, make sure that you know you have to send this back. Okay, let's check the draw on the system here. Right now it's over an amp, 2 amps, excuse me. Again, we're looking for less than 50 milliamps here. These things usually power down pretty quick here, so, oh, there we go. So, yeah, there's basically no draw on the system here. So, I think we're good with this instrument cluster. I'm just going to make sure that everything lights up, all the gauges are accurate. So it looks like all these gauges are working. Still got to take it out and drive it, make sure the speedometer works. This does it for another one, guys. Thanks for watching, and hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. And again, thank you. See you next time.